The United States has more mass shootings than most developed countries, with 1,500 mass shootings in the past 5 years and 18 school shootings in the first 45 days of 2018. And the debate over the solution has become more intense. Do you think gun control laws need to be stricter? Why or why not?
I do not think gun control laws need to be stricter. I don't think there's anything stopping a criminal from committing a crime. So if they're already okay with robbing someone's house, then I don't think they'll have a problem with obtaining a weapon legally.
I personally do think gun control laws have to be stricter because I think we should do everything in our power to limit the mass shootings, no matter what we can do, because I think even just one child's life is more important than anyone having a gun at all.
There's talk of arming teachers with guns.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think in practice it's not going to work, but in theory it's a good idea. I come from a family of educators and I know a lot of them aren't comfortable holding firearms, but in theory, I feel like having armed people on campus is a good idea.
I personally don't think that's a good idea at all because I know some of my teachers and I know they wouldn't be comfortable with that. Also, I think that there's a huge teacher shortage, with the lack of a good salary and stuff. So I think arming teachers will just make other people not want to join the occupation at all. And in Arizona, that's actually a really big issue. So I think that's not a good idea at all.
I think that puts both teachers and students in a really bad position. From everything that I've read, it takes a great deal of skill to actually take down a moving target. So I think it puts students at risk, physically at risk. I think it puts teachers at risk also. It's just going to be a matter of time before somebody on a campus dies accidentally. I mean, that happens all the time in homes. A gun goes off. I'm very opposed to arming teachers.
People of our generation are taking stands against gun violence. Do you take them seriously? Why or why not?
I take the walkouts and all the student protests very seriously because I think even if you politically don't agree with what they're saying, I think that it's a very important thing to teach kids from a young age to have a voice of their own because sooner than later we're going to be leading the country.
I take them seriously because I believe that kids our age should be taking a stand on ideas. It's good for them to form their own opinions rather than absorb what others are saying.
Oh yeah, I am so inspired by our young people. I gave a speech last night, in fact, and part of it was asking the adults to help the students if they saw an opportunity to do so. I asked the adults, I said, if you should go to the Capitol on March 24th at 10 a.m. where there's student-run protest against gun violence. I said, you adults, we all should be there in support of our young people who are really taking a stand and really, to some extent, leading the country on this issue right now. So yes, I take them very seriously.
Do you think walkouts help to solve anything?
I think walkouts are good for respecting those who've passed. I don't think the idea of spreading awareness of gun violence through walkouts is a good idea because you go to school to be educated and there's a time and place for speaking up for your ideas, and I don't believe that in the classroom is one of them.
Other than gun control laws, what do you think would help decrease the number of mass shootings in America?
Definitely help with mental illness because of the number of privileged people and people in communities of affluence. I think that mental illness is really looked over because I don't think that in America we want to accept the number of people that are mentally ill or even recognize them because it is a difficult topic. But I think that will definitely stop mass shootings because most of the mass shooters have been privileged people in communities that have suffered a rough background and developed mental illness.
Well, first of all, I don't believe gun control will help with gun violence, but I believe researching and funding mental illness awareness and stuff like that will help. Because the root of all gun violence, or most gun violence, is mental illness, especially for mass shootings.
If gun control laws were stricter, do you think that they would actually help decrease the number of mass shootings?
I do not. I feel like if you're determined enough to kill a mass amount of people, then nothing will stop you from getting a firearm or weapon.
Absolutely. I think that in multiple countries, it's been proven that that will already help. And I think that the mentality that criminals will always find a way to get guns if they're willing to commit a crime isn't necessarily the best way to look at things, because I think even if you look at drugs, criminals will always find a way to get their drugs, but I don't think that means we should just make them legal. I think we should do everything in our power to try to stop any harm being done to anyone.
For the CS Press Online, I'm Max Otello, signing off.